Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is gonna be another day talking about NK, at least for this video. I found her one audio, her first interview. I don't know if they were at a park, but it was the 15th. It was actually before Chris even confessed. It actually was the day he was confessing. So I have to get the times. Like, he was probably taking the polygraph at this time that they were doing the interview. And I have to match up the times to exactly what time they were doing the interview compared to, I know he went in for the polygraph at 11 and then he was there all day. But anyway, so this is that Wednesday. She meets with him, and I caught her in a couple other lies. The audio is really, especially at the beginning, it's really hard to hear because it's not, they're definitely outside. I'm not sure if they're at her house on the porch or something, or if there's, I heard somebody say they're at a park or something, but her dog's there, Duke, either her dog or her dad's dog. I think it's her dog. She introduces him, and her dad's with her again. And so the first part is just so much wind, you could hear it, and then it gets a little bit better, but it's still kind of hard to hear. I actually listened to, he or she, I'm not even sure. Actually, I think it's a guy, yeah. I'll put the link for his channel on my description, but he has all of NK's interviews at 7 hours all in a row. So if you want to listen to it, that's where I time-stamped it from. So there were just a few things. Like I said, I feel like I'm over critical on her, but okay, so I'm going to just kind of go, I took some notes on the interview, and I'm just going to kind of go down and give you a summary of what she said and what I think about it. It's definitely outside, like I said, and there's in the interviewer is Mark. So that's that Mark guy she's talking about the next day, when she said, oh, I told Mark. It's Crime Tube. Okay, so yeah, Crime Tube is the, you guys want to check out some of the timestamps I tell you, and if you haven't heard the interview yet, Crime Tube has it. He has it all out where he has like 7 hours of all her interviews in a row. Like, the first one is, on the 15th, which is the one I'm going to talk about. And then the next one is the 16th, the one I talked about in my last video. And it's 7 hours worth of it. So if you want to check him out, it's Crime Tube is his channel's name. Okay, so yeah, this is August 15th. It's with Mark. And I don't know he's an FBI agent, actually. There's two of them. I don't know the other guy's name. I know it's probably in Discovery, but as far as hearing it at the beginning, there's so much wind you couldn't even hear, but I did hear the one guy's name was Mark, and at the end he did say that they were FBI agents. So anyway, she says that they started hanging out frequently last week in June. So maybe I took it the wrong way. I know I got to get the timestamp for you guys on the last one. I think I might have told you on her next interview. She says she was gone the last week of June, but maybe just like the last half of the week of June, or maybe the weekend or something, because she said they started hanging out frequently the last week in June is what she says in this interview, which kind of goes with what she's been saying, and that they were in the process of separation. So Monday afternoon, remember how she said 3:45 is when she got the first text from Chris that his family was gone? She's saying Monday afternoon he told her. So I don't know. I wouldn't consider 3:45 afternoon, but I mean, I guess maybe you can consider afternoon, but that's what she told him. Monday afternoon is when he texted her. And she said and this is at timestamp 6:47, 6 minutes and 47 seconds. She said she didn't know him at all prior to June. So, which I think is kind of weird because, she looked up Shanann the previous year, so she had to have known him, at least somewhat of him. And you notice she says at all a lot, just like he's at all. This didn't happen at all, or I didn't know him at all. So, I don't know. I gotta see exactly. Maybe I'm reading too much into that phrase, but at all, it's almost like I feel like that's one of their tells that maybe they're lying when they use that at all. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a little more research on that. She said they started talking through text and phone calls, and she made a point to say she's not comfortable considering him her significant other until he's divorced, okay? So you'll see like later on how she kind of oh, okay. So, and then later on, in only a couple minutes later in the interview, she says, yes, we talked. They asked if they talked about the future, her and Chris. She said, yes, we talked about the future. I think all couples talk about the future. Yet, she said she didn't consider him her significant other until he's divorced. But yet, later on, she's saying, oh, yeah, all couples. So, are you a couple or aren't you? I don't know. So then she says the beginning of July is when it began to be much more than just talking. So if that's true, and she was out of town the first weekend of July, so July 3rd, she gets home. That's her birthday. And then they spend the night together, and that's one of the times he talks her off the ledge. So that would have been, if what she's saying is true, they didn't start, it didn't start to become intimate, more than talking, till the beginning of July. That means that must have been the first night that they were together, was July 3rd. And then all of a sudden, wow, she got it attached really quick. One night together, and you're already freaking out about coming second, and he has to talk you off the ledge already. And another weird thing is he's already sending her these birthday cards like he's in love with her, and you're telling me that they weren't intimate yet. And you should read some of the birthday cards. Maybe I'll put it up. Maybe I'll do a video of I'm sure you guys all have seen like what he wrote for her birthday card. You're telling me that he wrote that only being okay, so if her birthday was July 3rd, that means he would have probably gave it to her before they were even together, or like right after the first time they were together. He was already like madly in love with her, basically. Or I mean, if you read we know he doesn't. It probably isn't capable of what feeling real love, but like they're both already that attached from one night together. I mean, I guess it could happen. It just seems a little odd that might have been their first night together, and then she's already really like obsessed, already freaking out about coming second. And I don't know, it just seems kind of odd. They must have fell for each other real quick, or something just isn't right. And then she says, which later on she contradicts herself, because at this part of the interview, she says that Saturday that they went, the Saturday before the murders, that they went out to eat, she said that was one of the only times she's been out in public together. But yet, they went to camping at the sand dunes, they went to that car show, they went to the Bandamere Speedway, or Bandamere, whatever that was called, the car race, the car museum, I don't know. But yeah, she says Saturday was one of the only times she's been out in public together. Okay. She says she's been in the Lexus only one time. She usually is the one that drives. And then she kept making a point, like, if I text him right now, I bet he'd respond. He'd be responding in 5 minutes. Like he is so whipped, and so, like, she's got him wrapped around her finger that, if I text him, he'll respond right away. Like he's obsessed. And like, she knows it. You know what I'm saying? She realizes that he is hooked. Like, he will do anything she says. I mean, the fact that she's saying that is like, her awareness of that is very telling, I think. And then she says she's pretty positive he didn't tell anyone about the relationship. She says that a few times. Like, no, I don't think any of his friends knew. Nobody knew. And then she says she talked to him on that Sunday, the murders. She said, but he was fine. I talked to him Sunday night. He was fine. That's what she said. That's all detail. Oh, he was fine. And then she says, I had a friend over my house. He's not involved in this at all. So she makes sure, like Jim, I think, yeah, because she's talking about that Monday. And she's like, oh, yeah, he's not involved in this at all. She has to make sure, she points that out. Then she said on the 14th, which was the day before this interview, which was the Tuesday, after they went missing, she said they only texted. They had no phone calls. They talked Monday night, and Monday night was the last time they actually talked besides text. Okay, so she says this a couple times too, that he never had anything negative to say about Shanann. But yet, she says how he says she was bossy, she spent all the money, she called him names, which had the kids started picking up the names, you know, calling him the same things that Shanann was calling him. So how is she saying that oh, he never says anything negative, but yet she says all this stuff that he told her? So isn't that negative stuff that he has said about her, you know? So yeah, and then the part where she says, yes, we talked about the future. I think all couples talk about the future. Yeah, she said earlier that she wouldn't consider him her significant other. So, and then I found this funny. She says, I respect monogamy. That's what she said. Her quote, I respect monogamy. Are you kidding me? Does she even know what that means? You know what I'm saying? Like, that is her words. Like, I don't know. That made me laugh when I heard that. Like, what? Do you even know what that means? Because obviously you don't. Because how could you say you respect monogamy when you are dating a married man? So, I don't know. I found that kind of amusing. And then this is some more of, like, how, you know, Chris already told us she didn't want to come second. She always complained about it. That was the times he had to talk her off the ledge. But her quote is, this is what she tells Chris. She tells the FBI agents that this is what she's told Chris. The days you're with your kids, you need to be with them full time. I think we should take our time. I only want to hang out on the days you don't have your kids. And the rest of those days, spend time with yourself. Spend time doing whatever it is that makes you happy. Yet she's always flipping out about coming second. I mean, does that sound like somebody that's so insecure about coming second? Something that she would say? I don't know. Not to me. I mean, okay. Listen to this. Another flat out lie. This was at 25:55 is the timestamp. She said she was only at his house the second weekend of July. Because they asked, have you ever met Shanann? Have you ever been to his house? And make sure you listen to it all, because at first it sounded like she said July 2nd. But then when you listen to it after a couple minutes, you realize, because she repeats it, that it's the second week of July is what she's saying. So she said, yeah, well, no, I was only at his house once, the second weekend of July. We stopped by there on our way to her house. So she said, we stopped by there on the way to my house. Her and Chris together. They just had to stop by there to get something or whatever on the way to her house. And then at 28:20 is where you could hear her more clearly say the second weekend in July, because she says it again. And then she says again, you know, she doesn't think anyone in his life knew about her. She also said at 30:55, she said we never even emailed, which we know is a lie, because she did email. That was their first communication before text was email. She said she had, in 2016, she did have a Facebook page. So I wonder if they, I have a question. If they close if you close your Facebook page, can anybody access it later, or is it just completely deleted? Is there any way we could go in there and see what she made public, or she probably actually made it all private even? I don't know. I'm not sure once you delete it if people could go in there and look at it still. Probably not. But and then at 33:30, she said she found out that Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant on Tuesday. And then this is another time where she says, I did not know that at all. I just feel like when her and Chris say that at all, that's their tell. Like, that's the sign that they're lying. I don't know. It just seems like it. So yeah, I didn't know that at all. Anyway, and then she said when she questioned him Tuesday about, you know, her finding out Shanann was pregnant, he said it wasn't his. I don't want to ruin anything we have. So yeah, he kept worrying about, like, I don't want to ruin anything. Are we okay? Or is it ruined? Or are you still going to talk to me? And like freaking out after knowing he had just murdered his family, but he is just so concerned about her not wanting to be with him anymore because she found out Shanann was pregnant. Ugh, that's some cold monster right there. But then anyway, she said that he finally did come clean and said it was his, and he knew. Because he tried to say, like, it wasn't his, and he didn't even know she was pregnant. But then he finally, I guess she said, she kept calling him out, like, you're lying, and then he finally came clean and said, okay, it's mine, I knew. And then when she asked, Mark asked her if she had met any of his friends, or did she know any of Chris's friends, she said she's heard about Mark out in San Diego, so I guess Chris mentioned Mark to her. And she said Nick lives somewhere over by me. And then she starts talking about how that she likes to talk about current events. And so she would send him like random things about current events. And one time she sent him, because actually this is why this came up, because they asked if she knew that if Chris had any weapons. Does he own a gun? Does he have any weapons? And she said they like to talk about current events. She sent him a current event about a shooting, and he told her he doesn't own a gun. He doesn't own a gun and doesn't understand people that have more than one gun. He told her he doesn't keep guns in the house. So, and then she said that she asked him yesterday, which had been the Tuesday, to give her some space. She said give her time to heal so she could process everything. And then he asked, are we done? And she said, no, we're not done. And then she says, but I just told him that because she was trying to find a way to distance herself from him. So she just told him, we're not done. But in reality, she's saying, but in her mind, she was done. She just didn't know how to tell him, I guess. I don't know. That's what she claims. She said she just told him that because she was trying to find a way to distance herself from him without alerting him that she was uncomfortable with what was going on. And I was at 48:12, she said that. Whether, I don't know if that's important or not, but I just wrote down some timestamps. So she claims, that she was like kind of like, almost like, it sounds like maybe a little scared or trying to distance herself, but didn't want him to realize it. So she just said, no, we're good. And then he asks her, the agent asks her, do you think like, I don't know the exact words that he says, but basically, is there a chance that Shanann was seeing somebody else? And she answers, well, she's at home all night. It would probably be pretty easy for her to have an affair. That's at 53:20. She says that. Like, what? That just shows you her mentality, like her thought process. Like, she's home all night, so yeah, it's easy to have an affair. Like, normal people don't think that way unless if they're planning on having an affair. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, a person that was, I don't know, it just kind of shows her her thought process. And then I forget what this was a response to. I think it was something like okay. So yeah, they asked NK if what she thought happened. Like, where do you think Shanann and the girls are? And NK said, well, she said, I was thinking maybe they had a lot more debt than he let on, so maybe she took off to start a new life. That was her theory of maybe what happened. Oh, this is good here. Okay, so this right here shows you, remember we were talking about that manipulation where she pretended like he had all the control. In reality, she was controlling him by using that kind of technique, by like making him seem like he has all the control, but yet in reality she was controlling everything. You know what I'm saying? Like that way of like, oh yeah, he's making all the choices, but, or like she's manipulating him as far as like pretending to like all the things that he likes and letting him choose all the places to go and all the choices, making it seem like that in a way, but in reality it was her manipulation to kind of win him over. You know what I'm saying? And listen, she says, this is at 1 hour. She says, every place we went was my idea. I think all of it was special to him because I really took the time to go to places that he would like. But it was all stuff that I picked. Dinner was dinner, but any place we went, it was something that I picked. I was like, hey, I know you like this. What do you think? And he was always all about it. Going camping was my idea. We went out a couple other times, my idea. All of it was my idea. He was all about it. I mean, do you see that quote? Like what she said is exactly what we all have been talking about. Like the manipulation by pretending that he's got all the control, he's making all the choices, and we're doing it, everything I'm wanting to do and I'm picking, but she knows it was all her idea. She knows that she's controlling him, and that he thought it was so special and he loved it all because it was all her idea, and she knew what he liked, so she picked it, purposely did that. Like, I don't know. I think, wow, it's very telling. Like that what she said right here, very, like, I feel like it falls right into line with what we've all been saying, I think. Well, I shouldn't say all of us, but a lot of us have been saying. So the investigator, Mark, asked, so he just wanted to spend time with you? And NK said, yes. I don't think he cared where we go out. So she asked the FBI agent, Mark, where's he at? Meaning Chris. She wanted to know, like, where's he at? Because she hasn't talked to him all day. So, and then she asked him, and then they respond like, oh, I don't know, we have so many people working on the case. I'm not sure, somebody else is working on that. I don't know where he's at, And then she asks him, are they getting a divorce? Are they separating or what? Like, I want to know what's going on. And once again, Mark says, I don't know. We have so many people, I really don't know. Okay, so, and then she's talking about Chris now, and she says, I asked him to leave me alone. He's pretty respectful of the things I have to say to him. So I think it's pretty hard for him to have me not talking to him. So at some point, if he caved and he did try to talk to me, it won't surprise me. But also, if he respected what I had to say, he would give me space. I think he would respect that too. I told him numerous times that day that I was scared. So right there too, it's like she's almost saying like, he listens to what I say. So since I told him to leave me alone, he's not going to say. But then in the same words, in the same sentence saying, but he's probably like going nuts, not talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. So if he caved because he just has to talk to me. Because, he probably doesn't know what to do with himself not talking to me. So it's like, she's almost trying to say, like, how much, like, he is into her. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, well, of course he would respect me because I said it, of course. But then, but I don't know if he could take not talking to me, because... I'm just so great, and he has to talk to me. I don't know, he's probably killing him that I'm not talking to him. So if he does cave because he just has to talk to me, then it wouldn't surprise me, or. And then she goes and says that again. Well, but you know what? If he would respect me and give me my space, I think he would respect that too, because I told him to give me my space, so he's probably gonna respect that. I don't know. It's just, she realizes, basically what I'm trying to say is she realizes that he would do anything for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's definitely got him wrapped around her finger, and she is aware of it. And now I know for sure after hearing her say this stuff. So let me see what else I got written down here. Okay, so that's about it for that interview. I don't know, you guys should listen to it and tell me what you think, because this is one that's not as heavily talked about, and I think it's because it's so hard to hear on certain parts, and the wind, you could definitely tell they're outside because you could hear the wind blowing. But just, it does get better, like the first 10 minutes Like you can't hear anything because you can just hear the wind. And then it does end up getting better where you could hear, I mean, there's certain parts that are harder to hear, but if you really listen and maybe rewind it a couple times, turn it up as loud as you can, you'll be able to hear. I mean, well, some parts. I mean, there was some parts I had trouble hearing. There's some parts I had to listen to like so many times over to get what they were saying. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think. I just thought it was pretty interesting that she lied right there, you know, right at the beginning when he asked, have you ever been over there? And she said, only one time, the second week in July. So, what about that July 4th that she actually does end up saying the next interview? So, I mean, why didn't she tell him right there? Why is she lying right there, you know? Oh, and then about her like picking all the places out. Like, tell me what you guys think of that. Like, do you guys see that manipulation of like what she was saying about how she picks everything, but she's purposely trying to pick stuff she knows he likes, but she makes sure she is the one making those choices, right? And she even specifies like over and over. I don't know. I look forward to reading your guys' comments. Maybe in the future I'll do that last interview too. I'll go through and take notes on that one. I've already heard all these interviews, numerous times, but I never took notes on them, so that's what I'm kind of going through now. And taking notes on them and trying to catch, little details that I didn't catch the first time or the second time, But I have to be honest, this one is actually the first time I heard this one. I kept hearing that there was one before. There's an interview before that first interview, but I never heard it. And it's not really. There's not very many videos on it, but finally, I was like, I have to listen to it. It has to be somewhere, and I did find it. So yeah, if you guys want to check it out, it's CrimeTube. I do recommend you guys listening to that. So yeah, and I do look forward to reading your guys' comments on this. And I do want to do a video going over the text messages, the new text messages that just came out from her talking about the witness protection program and changing her name, which I think it's kind of bullcrap if they put her in the witness protection program, because she wasn't a witness, or was she? You know what I'm saying? If she was a witness, then that means she was involved. She needs to freaking be arrested if she was a witness. You know what I'm saying? For her to be involved and witness something and not told anybody. And if she wasn't involved and didn't know anything about it, then she's not a witness. So I just don't think it's fair that we're wasting our resources and stuff, on somebody that just, I don't think she should qualify for that. Yeah, she could get her name changed, because anybody could get their name changed, but I don't know. I just don't think it's right if they did let her, go into the witness protection program. But I don't know. It did sound like it, reading those texts, that maybe. I know in that interview it sounded like he was kind of more leaning towards, no, I don't think, not the witness protection program, but you could change your name. But then I think those texts were from the 19th, or it was from after that. And then it almost sounded like, maybe they were going to let her. So I think I'm going to discuss those with Randy maybe next video. We'll go over those. But all right, guys. Till next time. See ya. Bye.